welcome to another episode of YTC's Learning Zone. Today, I am sitting in my kids' closet because a lot of parents, when they get started with Montessori, they don't know where to begin. And the advice of begin somewhere small or begin somewhere important, begin somewhere simple, like that's not enough, right? So I am going to go through several areas of our home that we Montessori-d, it's not really a word, but it is now, in the very beginning, before I had my training, before I learned about the method from a pedagogical, is that a word? Point of view, we were still implementing things in our home. And these are the places that we started. And that was 10 years ago. And we're still doing them. We're still doing them almost the exact same way that we were then because they're that efficient. So I'm going to show you a couple places around our house that we've implemented these things and been implementing them so that you can kind of see, oh, like that looks like something that I could do in my house. And you start with one of these. You don't start with all of them. You start with one. And you do it in the way that is best for your family, whatever that might look like. These things have looked different depending on the house that we live in, depending on the things that we have access to. So don't feel even like if you choose to start here in the closet, don't feel like it needs to look like our closet. Or don't feel like you can't do this because your closet isn't as big as this one, because this is the biggest closet my kids have ever had. Literally ever had. But we've been doing it their whole lives. So the ideas can be applied no matter how big or small your space is and no matter what materials you have in your home or access to add to your home. It doesn't matter. The ideas can be implemented as long as you're willing to do a little bit of mind work and figure out how that might look. So we're gonna turn around and take a look at this closet and we're gonna chat about it, and then we're gonna go to a couple different areas in the house, like I said, to chat about how they are Montessori'd, to give you a little bit of inspiration. All right, let's turn around. Now, my two youngest share a room, so this closet is for my 8-year-old and my 5-year-old. The 8-year-old shelves include a spot for his stuffed animals at the top, and each bucket is for a specific type of clothing, shirts, pants, etc. My daughter's drawers are very much the same, and this center bucket is where she puts what she's going to wear tomorrow. Let's move on to the kitchen. Having access to the things they need to be independent in the kitchen is vital. Their dishes, plates, and bowls are right next to the snack cabinet. This is their snack cabinet. It's not our snack cabinet. And right above that is handy grab-and-go kinds of snacks for us to take on hikes or car drives. I'll link below to shelf tours of our classroom, but you can see that everything is individually presented and nicely organized so that kids can find their way around. Yes, we have a wee TV in our classroom. One of the biggest questions I get is, how do you keep track of your schoolwork and your chores so that the kids can be independent? Well, here it is. Lists that my kids have had a lesson on. They know how to read, they know how to use, they know how to fill out, and they completely understand, make every part of their daily accomplishments easy to fulfill. Now, before we had this house and this space and a live-in yoga teacher, aka grandma, we practiced yoga literally in our living room. But the importance of having a space that your children can go to when they need to calm down or relax is very beneficial for your daily practice. So those are the first areas in our home that we Montessori'd when we were first starting out. And like I said before, they're areas where we continue to use the same methods and strategies as our children grow, as our space changes, as our home changes, as our lives change. The things that we are implementing pretty much stay the same. They just look a little different each time. And that's the key with Montessoriing your personal home space, is just seeing how it applies to your child, to your space, and to the environment of that space that you're looking to adjust, like kitchen, clothing, that kind of thing. I hope that kind of looking at ours has given you maybe a good starting point. At the very least, I hope that it has opened your eyes to at least one area in your own home where you looked at ours and said, oh, I could do something like that, sure. Because that's really the first step, is recognizing just that one spot to get started. Once you know where that one spot is, if you get stuck deciding like how to implement into that place, comment below in the video and let me know, because I will help you out. If you're still overwhelmed by trying to Montessori your space, look at the places that we have Montessori'd. Decide which one is the biggest daily battle for you and leave that one for last if it's too overwhelming. Pick a spot where maybe you're really close and you're like, oh, if I just tweak a thing here or there, we would be on par. Start there, because that small change to foster success is going to give you more energy and more motivation to tackle the bigger things. Don't start with the thing that's the biggest if that's too much for you. If that's a motivator for you, go for it, please. But if that's still too much for you, start with the place that's the easiest and the quickest to make change in, and then move from there. Because no matter what the instance is, you have to do what is best for you and your family. And for every one of us, that's going to look different. And that's the point that I'm trying to make with this video, is that everyone's going to implement the same philosophies and the same ideas, but in totally different ways. Speaking of which, if you're in our Facebook group, drop a picture of your space, maybe a before and after, or let us know how you are Montessoriing your home so that we can celebrate with you and maybe give you tips if you need them. All right, that's all for today. See you next time.